Chief David Hill.
It's Jay, good morning.
Good morning.
I was trying to look for a little photo after what Deputy Chief had mentioned. See if I can find it. I mean, you'll hopefully get a kick out of it. Well, I'll see if I can find it later. Similar to what you said, but again, it's always a great honor to be joined with Second Chief Dale Beaver and all the tribal leaders that joined us this week. I want to introduce all the Intertribal Council that's here in attendance at the table with Second Chief. It's Speaker William Lowe, Chief Justice Roger Wiley, and sitting in for Chief of Staff is Sergeant of Arms Thomasine Holo Osborne. And also I'd like to recognize all the Muscogee Creek citizens and any employees of the nation. Please stand and be recognized. At this time, I introduced two, but the remaining National Council. I think Representative Anna Marshall, I think she's here from Tuckabeck District. Representative Crawford, there she is. Representative Deere. Representative Deere, they're both from the Muscogee District. And former Speaker Randall Hicks from Muscogee District. And I think I've seen Representative Golden. There she is, way in the back. I did see Representative Freeman, Hicks, and Cloud last night. I don't know if they're here today. Is there any other National Council in attendance? Would all of the executive cabinet members please stand? Be recognized. Thank you. Is Dr. Randall here? Yep. Seen him last night. It can't be said enough. This is a privilege to stand before this council to wrap up our quarterly session. It's always a great honor to have our meetings and the exchange of ideas, networking, sharing the our success and collective progress. Truly making these meetings such a special time that we look forward to. And we're honored to host it here at our award-winning River Spirit Casino Resort. And I definitely want to thank the round of applause for the resort management, event, hospitality staff if you're here, and which they always do an excellent job. And I definitely want to thank executive branch assistants, Anita, Whitney, Isaac. I think Lucy and all of them assisted last night. And I think Anita said we had, how many bags? 600? 650? And that was all gone by 9 o'clock yesterday morning. So attendance here was big. So I appreciate that. There's two individuals I definitely always seem like I've seen them miss. They're here today. I heard about the Wednesday event, the golf tournament. So I'd like to thank Dr. Dean Hughes and former council rep, James Jennings. Please stand up and be recognized. Thank you. Because I definitely heard, like I said, former Chief Speaker Byrd, really, I think he was really bragging. Yeah. So the bad news I heard from Nell was that I think Cherokee took it. On the flip side, anytime we go to Durant, they win the cornhole. So if you've been to their complex, I think the third floor, is it the third floor that you have cornhole? So they get to practice a lot. But I did find a picture. It's from Abraham Lincoln. It's better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt. So I thought that kind of matched. So we kind of encountered that at up west, don't we? This quarter, we enrolled 699 citizens into the Muscogee Nation, bringing our total enrollment at the end of June, 99,765. It looks like, so it looks like next time we meet together, we shall hit and pass the 100,000 mark. So Deputy Chief Warner and Chief Batten, I'll be expecting some type of gift to give to us, to welcome us into the club. It's been a historic quarter for sure, for all of us. Since the last time we met, we all joined in celebration of two major victories. We all watched, and as Eddie had mentioned, we all watching with relief and joy in the decision handed down in Holland versus Brackeen, and with the Indian Child Welfare Act being upheld. This is a win for Indian country, for Indian families, and most importantly, for Indian children. I applaud all the tireless and dedicated efforts from our various children and family departments here this week. You're the reason IGWA won and why it works. Stay strong in your work, and know all of us here are here to provide the support you need. So I would like to have all the IGWA, CFSA workers, if you're here from your tribe, please stand up and be recognized. They're here. Well, that goes to show you, they're all out working. So definitely thank them. We saw the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals remind everyone that tribal sovereignty is a fact, even though it may be a nuisance to some of our detractors. States and municipalities have no jurisdiction over our Indian and Indian country, period. So thank you. We're going to continue strengthening and growing our list of intergovernmental agreements so that we can all protect more people with more resources. There are no two sets of rules. Tribal sovereignty is not unfair or less. It is more partnership and more partnership at the table, willing to work together for the good of all Oklahomans. I know we've all heard some of our meetings we had up there in Oklahoma City, without mentioning the name, that, hey, let's go back to 1907. Let's go back the way it was, you know. I know me and Second Chief, I heard that many times, and I'm at the point saying, yes, let's go back. Let's go back to 1492. But I haven't had the opportunity to say that yet. But while we celebrate those victories, I want to share some of our day-to-day accomplishments for this quarter at Muscogee Creek Nation. In April, our Emergency Management Department welcomed representatives from various communities for coordination meetings on ideas of water treatment facilities. This meeting resulted in historic legislation we signed to match federal dollars for these kind of projects. This is a massive investment in the future of reservation infrastructure. Thank you to the Emergency Management, FEMA, and our National Council. Thank you very much. And we also, in April, we graduated 9 Muscogee citizens that completed our pipeline CNG technician training program. This training program was made possible through a collaboration between the nation, OSU Institute of Technology, and Marathon Petroleum Corporation. Also, on April 21st, commencement ceremony was held for the largest class in the history at the College of Muscogee Nation. Our college continues to grow, building campus bigger by the day, and we're excited for the future. So I was hoping Dr. Randall would be here. I know he's taking on the legacy of Dr. Bible. So I want to definitely, you see Dr. Randall, thank him. I know they do a lot of good work. In May, I was proud to stand beside fellow leaders of this council in united voice against the governor's veto on bills protecting religious freedom, education, and public safety in Oklahoma. Those vetoes go on to be overwhelmingly overridden. We introduced new programs under social services, the Tribal Grave Housing Assistance Program, will begin October 1st and will provide up to 500 to Muscogee families towards the purchase of supplies to construct a grave house for their loved ones. We're so thrilled to include a program that assists those at a tough time, but advance our culture as well. So I want to thank Representative Osborne for sponsoring that bill. She brought that to our attention, and like I told the cabinet before, you know what the word Nike sign means, just do it, so she did it. So I want to thank her and the National Council for passing that. In June was also one of our biggest months. We were once honored again to host guests from around the world to our annual Muscogee Nation Festival. Free family fun for 2 weekends and our biggest event of the year, Muscogee Fashion Show, showcasing some of our talented Muscogee artists and designers. I know in a fashion show, I don't know if Siobhan Agee is here. Is she here or not? Is she present? Oh, she's outside. Probably getting some more artists and fashion designers. But, you know, me and Second Chief haven't been asked to be in the fashion shows yet, so I don't know what the deal is. We finally did get to be in the reservation dogs. Finally. No speaking, we didn't get to say anything. We just sit in the back. We also hosted Oklahoma Municipal League and Broadband Office at tribal headquarters for meetings on better ways to partner together to increase access to broadband and high-speed connectivity across our reservation. We're excited to share soon the advancement we made in Secretary of Nation Conference with the strategic plan and coverage mapping on our rural areas. I'd like to also welcome our newest set of royalty at the Muscogee Creek Nation that was here last night. I don't know if they're here in attendance, but Miss Muscogee Chanel Barnett and Junior Miss Georgia Harjoes. So lady, if you're present, please stand, but I think they had to leave this morning. Two fine ladies that definitely has already represented the nation well. Also signed an executive order 2301 declaring a state of emergency for the Muscogee Nation in response to the storm damage on our reservation on June 20th. This action allowed the nation to request a formal federal declaration and relax procurement procedures for emergency items. You know, during this storm, it's a high wind storms here we had. I think it affected Tulsa the most, but most of y'all know where our Council Oak is at. It was the next day I contacted our chief of police to have someone drop by there and go look, just to check. And it sits on top of a hill right there at Cheyenne Street, and the officer sent some photos to me, and the big tree that was there is still standing. I think only had 3 or 4 branches or limbs that came off, but if you look to the west of it, where all our bronze statues are at, there's a tree that's probably 6 inches, 8 inches in diameter, was blown over. But our council was still standing. So some of the elders told me, well, that's just the strong roots that our ancestors held. So we definitely hold true to that on what the ancestors left us. And we're happy to host a tribal governance conference, as Lydia mentioned, here at our resort just a few weeks ago, where there was a lot of tribal government and tribal policy leaders from all over the country was here. And as Admiral had mentioned, we had the opportunity to host the Indian Health Service Director, Rosalind So, to our Muscogee Creek Nation Coweta Indian Health Facility, and look at our automated pharmaceutical refill center. This was a chance for our team to show Director how our joint venture has thrived and grown over the years, and to meet with her and leadership to discuss the needs and priorities of our Muscogee Creek Nation Health. Also, in closing, I want to say what a privilege and honor it is of my life to be Principal Chief of Muscogee Creek Nation. You know, just always motivating in the progress that we all share together as a nation. And together we're a strong voice, and together we're stronger together. So let's continue to push one another to greatest height. And I definitely had height in my notes. And Like I said, I think some of y'all must have read it because that was the joke at our lunch, the height. Is that the requirement for second chief? Because if you do look, they're about a foot taller than all of us. Other than the lieutenant governor, he's about an inch taller, but so that led to other jokes, and I told Chief Batten, me and my wife had an event to go to Texas, so on the way back we spent the night at Durant. It's in the elevator, so I'm dressed like this, in a suit and tie, and a lady with her suitcase, I met her at the bottom. We went in, rode in the elevator, and she said, "You have a nice hotel here." So not knowing, I said, "Well, thank you. Just hope you enjoy your stay. Enjoy the food." I said, "If you get a chance, come to Tulsa, Oklahoma." I said, "That's our bigger hotel. I said, "It's called River Spirit Casino." And another joke was Chief Harper. We invited him to come. Second chief had him to come, and weekend, probably 4 or 5 years ago. So we went to Buffalo Run up there, and we're just sitting, just playing around, and I noticed all the workers were just staring at me. I'm in my blue jeans, cap, t-shirt, just playing around. I noticed they're looking at me, and one just come up, "You want any coffee?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So every 5 minutes I was getting coffee. So one of them stopped, said, "Are you a tribal leader?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." I said, "From Muscogee Creek Nation." "Oh, okay." So they thought I was Chief Harper. So after I told them that, I noticed the coffee kind of stopped coming. So that's why I was teasing Chief Harper last night. So did you go around tell them that you was me or what? And that was another funny story I told them during the COVID. Same thing. I'm dressed in my blue jeans, t-shirt, baseball cap, but I forgot to put on my mask. So I pull up to the valet, and new gentleman that was working there kept looking at me. I said, "You look familiar." I said, "Well, I get that all the time." So I'm getting my luggage, my wife, and he comes up and said, "Hey, you're the dude on the wall." I said, "Yeah, I'm the dude." So that's why I asked Chief Harper. I said, "Did you tell him you're the dude on the wall or what?" But again, it's always great to be here, and plan on the next intertribal would be at Cherokee Nation, Hard Rock, to see what, just to have the collaboration with these gentlemen here, the tribal leaders, and I think National Council, if I'm not mistaken, y'all have your committee now where all the National Council meet. That's great, because that's one of the things I wanted to do when I was a second speaker, try to get all the National Council. It's good that we all share ideas well, and I hope it's going well for all the council members of all the 5 tribes. It's always good to share ideas, and like I said, I can't say enough that we only grow as we stay together. The one thing I definitely like to request, I mentioned this at the Cultural Committee, NCAI is in November 12th through the 17th, I believe. And this is election year for everyone. I know there's a resolution come up in support of the Treasury Department. I think someone from Muscogee Nation. Second Chief and I didn't get a chance to attend at the last NCAI meeting due to other conflicts we had, but it's very important we show up. In the Culture Committee, I touched on the so-called groups that are coming up. I know Muscogee Creek Nation is having these issues of these groups coming up saying they're Muscogee Creek, they're Lower Creek, Upper Creek from Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, now Florida. Told them it's very important that we all show up to vote if we can in November. Out of 574 recognized tribes, I think there's only 140 now that are members of that from the federally recognized tribe. There's over 66 state recognized tribes that are members. Any constitutional change would take 2/3 votes. They didn't have enough for a quorum, I don't believe, at the last NCAI meeting. But if they do change, you're going to have these state-recognized tribes change what should have been just the federally recognized tribes. So at the United Nations of Oklahoma, I really pushed to have a lot of our 39 tribes here in Oklahoma to attend. It makes a difference. As we always said, if you're not there to vote, you're not there to voice your opinion or voice what's going on. So I encourage everyone here to, if you can, attend NCAI this year at New Orleans, November 12th through the 17th. Our voices need to be heard at these conferences, especially NCAI. It's gotten to the where that I feel that they need to hear our issues here, our concerns, but it's getting to the point that I personally feel that it's money to them, NCAI. They need to hear our issues, our concerns to address this to Congress. Otherwise, it seems like it's just our tribes here in Oklahoma that are really pushing it. But I encourage everyone, if you can, please attend NCAI. The voting's this year. Definitely, like I say, we want to have our representation on the board at NCAI. But hopefully that's just the only one issue that we're having with the state and these groups that are coming up saying that they are Muscogee Creek. And I definitely don't want that to happen to any other tribes here in Oklahoma. We're the one that was removed on Trail of Tears. You can't connect your homeland there if you're already there. If you were, you should have came on the Trail of Tears with us. But that didn't happen. So I encourage everyone who can, please attend NCAI. Again, Mado, I want to thank all our tribal leaders here. It's always an honor to be with y'all. Mado. Very good.